Hi, and welcome to Morning Coffee with Pizan Academy. I'm Deanna, and this is a special Saturday edition of our morning episodes to celebrate Dia de los Muertos, or the Day of the Dead. This tradition is connected with All Saints' Day because the day following is All Souls' Day. But in the Mexican and Latin American traditions, they blended the holiday with some of the Aztec customs, and when Catholicism was brought into the region, they started celebrating All Souls' Day, which is typically a pretty minor holiday in the Catholic tradition, but in the Latin American countries, and particularly Mexico, and then in cities like Los Angeles, it has become a very big celebration. So what is the history of this holiday, and why do we celebrate it to this day? What is it all about? There's an Aztec tradition that the Queen of Mictlan was stolen as an infant and placed in the underworld, so she would be the queen of the king of the underworld. As part of her duty as queen, she would be in charge of overseeing the bones of the departed. And in this tradition in the Aztec world, the bones of the already dead had to be stolen to create the bones for the new that will be living. And so part of her would be taken with these bones. They believed that once a year she would come up to the land of the living and still watch over those bones and to make sure that they were being properly cared for. This tradition that happened once a year was kind of blended with what the Spaniards, the conquistadors, and the first recorded tradition of Day of the Dead was in the 1600s, where they blended this Aztec holiday, kind of meshed it with All Souls' Day, which was already on the Catholic calendar, and it became this tradition of Day of the Dead. So what happens at the Day of the Dead? Why is it such a big festival even today? Well, it starts on All Saints' Day, November 1st, and it goes until All Souls' Day, November 2nd. And what happens is that there's a line that is blurred between the living and the dead. Families will go to cemeteries, and they'll bring a lot of colorful flowers like marigolds. Skeletons and bones still play really prevalent in this holiday, and that's why a lot of times you'll see people dressed up in skeletons or painting their faces like a skull. This is all part of this tradition that goes back to the Aztecs. And so people will go to the cemetery and they'll bring food, they'll decorate the graves, they'll have these altars set up, and they'll have a meal. And it is believed that the spirit of the individual who they're celebrating will be participating in the meal. So they'll bring their favorite foods. Sometimes they'll do some of their favorite activities. So if they like to listen to music, they'll play music. And so it's really a way of honoring the dead 1 day or 2 days a year and bring them back into the land of the living. Now in Mexico, most cemeteries are public, and so this is done in the evening, and they set up these elaborate altars, and they have these huge celebrations in the cemeteries. In the United States, where it's celebrated, most cemeteries are private, and so they close in the evening. So a lot of people have brought these traditions into their homes, where they'll set up an altar, and they'll perform these ceremonies and have the food and celebrate their departed that way. So Day of the Dead has become a huge festival and tradition, not just in Mexico, but throughout Latin America, and has even spread up into America, into the U.S., particularly in the border states, but I know that there are celebrations wherever there are a lot of populations of Mexican or Latin Americans. It's a really beautiful tradition to celebrate the dead, to have not a mourning, because they believed that the mourning might even upset the dead. This was a way to celebrate and bring them back into the ritual. Thanks for watching. If you're enjoying our videos, please like, subscribe, share, check out our social media in the description below, and have a great Day of the Dead.